Good day. My name is Tepiso. Um, and I just thank you for joining me. Um, and I want us today to talk about someone that is the leader of our state, a South African state, Ubab Cyril Ramaphosa. Just for us to take a moment into getting to know the background of this person, right? Because then I believe that within the near future, uh, with necessary resources, I will be getting to a point where we talk about his shady dealings. But then I want us to firstly focus on getting to know his background, where does he come from, and how did he get to the point that he is right now, right? But then just the shallow information, but then because I don't want to misinform people or miss some information, I actually wrote down the things that I found out about his background and about his upbringing, right? So I will be reading it from my phone just so that I don't miss anything. But then, so the person that we be talking about, his real name is Cyril Ramaphosa, right? Who was born on the 17th of November, 1952 in Soweto. So best believe he was not born in Limpopo. And but then as we go deeper, you will get to realize how does he relate with Limpopo and whatnot, right? So he was born on the 17th of November 1952 in Soweto, Johannesburg. He grew up in a modest family with his parents, Samuel and Edmuth Ramaphosa. So best believe that our leader was brought up in a household where there's a mom and a dad, not saying anything about being raised in a single-headed household, ne? Because I'm one of the few that was raised in that. Actually, yeah. But then he was raised by both his parents, right? He attended Chilids Primary School. I assume that this is in Johannesburg. Chilids Primary School, and later Sakanu Ntwani High School in Soweto. So yeah, we're still on track. In 1971, he matriculated from Mpapuli High School in Sibasa, Venda. So he attended high school in Soweto, but then he actually matriculated in Venda. So I think in his late teenage years, he moved to Limpopo. That's where he starts relating with Limpopo. But then he was not born in Limpopo, was not raised in Limpopo. Part of his late teenage years was in Limpopo. So he pursued law in University of the North, which is TEFLOP, in 1972, where he became involved in student politics, joining the South African Students Organization, SASO, and the Black People's Convention. His activism led to his detention in 1974 under the Terrorism Act for organizing pro Frelimo rallies. He was detained again in 1976 following the Soweto uprising. After completing his B. Proc degree from the University of South Africa, UNISA, that is. In 1981, Ramaphosa worked as a law clerk and joined the ANC, and joined the Council of Unions of South Africa, right? Oh, so as a legal advisor. So he was a legal advisor of Council of Unions of South Africa. In 1982, he founded the National Union of Mine Workers. So in 1982, he founded the Union of National Union of Mine Workers, becoming one of the most influential trade union leaders in South Africa. So I'd like to believe that this is where his uh, or business mind started to grow. This is where his business mind started to grow. So Ramaphosa was not sent overseas to study overseas, about because then we, especially, I was one of the few people that assumed that Ramaphosa is a trans is a plant from the white people who, as a young kid, white people sent to Europe to go to university. Then, after studying, they brought him back and say, do this and do that. But then he actually attended university in Limpopo, then completed his law uh, pro, pro, profil, profil, proc film, something like that, in UNISA, right? So his entry to politics, ne? Ramaphosa's entry to politics was marked by his election as Secretary General of ANC in 1991. So in 1991, he was elected as a Secretary General. Now, I think this is where foul play um, is at, because I don't get how someone can be involved in a student politics, right, in Limpopo, then coming back to Joburg, started working as a what, um, a legal advisor, and then after founding a trade union for mine workers, then how do you go to becoming a secretary general? I think this is where foul play is at. This is where I think we should investigate, or like, kahle kahle, how did you become a secretary general? You've never been part of the ANC Youth League. You've never been, there's no evidence of you being part of the ANC Youth League. You just went from being in trade unions and whatnot, and then to being a secretary general. It doesn't make sense. I think my investigation will start from there. Like, how that did he become a secretary general for ANC? Like, how? It doesn't make sense. How do you climb up that quick? So he played a crucial role in negotiations that ended apartheid and helped draft South Africa's 1996 constitution. After resigning from politics in 1996, he focused on business. Yeah, and I think also this one, okay, in 1991, you become the Secretary General. And then 1994, we get our democracy. 1996, you resign from politics because I think there's a law within the constitution that you can't be involved in business and whatnot. So I think him becoming the secretary general, this is where white people came in and positioned him within that position, and then gave him businesses, and then that's why he retired from politics and focused on business. Because then it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. But now I know where to start with my investigations about these things. Um, he focused on business, founding Shanduka Group in 2001, which grew into one of South Africa's most successful black-owned business, Shanduka Group. Okay. Um, in 2012, Ramaphosa returned to ANC politics, becoming deputy president of ANC. Like, okay, oh, wait, these things they don't make sense. So, 1991, you become a secretary general. Questionably, like, how did you become the secretary general without proper structures? And then you retire from politics in 1996. Then in 2012, you return as a deputy president of Kantika. How do these ranks go about? Because then it seems like he has some sort of power from behind and influence from behind that is decisively putting him into positions. There is no way. Like, I know politicians, I know, like, I have I'm friends with politicians, right? And then it takes years and years and years to get into a certain position. But then it becomes so easy for him to get into these positions. And he's not even interested because it's like Yana is not even interested into politics or whatnot. I think whatever that is pushing him, whatever that is behind him, decides, or like, you need to be in this position for us to acquire this and this, because it doesn't make sense. But then as we proceed, and later deputy president of South Africa, he was elected as the president of ANC. Okay, this one, yeah. He was elected as the president of ANC in 2017, then elected as, uh, then sworn in 2018, right? Uh, I wanna, so all to his social life, he met his current wife, Dr. Tshepo Motsepe, sister of mining magnate Patrice Motsepe, right? And they have 4 children together. Ramaphosa's ventures include investment in telecommunication, MTN banking, Standard Bank, and mining. Okay, but then, these social ones, I think, nah, I can't really say uh him marrying. Yes, it's a wise move, but then I think the things that I can say that are questionable about him are, firstly, how he became secretary general of the ANC without proper structures and procedures, because then there is no evidence of him becoming anything within the ANC Youth League. There's no evidence of that. So it's like someone, right? It's like someone who comes from school, ne? And then get into a company, then becoming a COO. You're like, what? How? How? Like, how? You don't have any experience. Yes, you can say my academics are, but then it doesn't work like that. You can't come straight fresh from school, then you're becoming a COO. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You have to at least work 2 3 years within the company, and then because you have qualifications and then the experience that you gained within the company, they promote you to such a position. But then when you were in student movement, and then not for long, for that those years that you were in University of Limpopo, and then from there, because then in UNISA there's no evidence of him being part of any student movement, whatnot. So he went from that, and then he worked as a legal advisor to becoming a secretary general of ANC. My thing is how? Like how do you, with all the great leaders that we had, like how the people that were really within proper structures, right, were not given that privilege of becoming a secretary general. But then asiko lapho, then you leave politics 5 years later, clearly showing you're not even interested within the politics. And then coming back, I think 14 years later or 16 years later, as the deputy president. Well, when are you just skipping stages, like how it really doesn't make sense. If someone could tell me right now, or how, look at how it has taken William Balula. He's not even president, he's not even deputy president, but he's been in the ANC for the longest of time. Look at how long it has taken him to be to even be a deputy president, or he is on his way to becoming the president. Look at how long it has taken him to becoming whatever that he wants to become. But then for Cyril, it's so easy. It is so easy, like he does it in his sleep without even any sweat. But then, yeah, hopefully, um, someday I will return with proper investigation. Uh, Hopefully with some facts and not allegations or theories. Hopefully, because then data is limited, especially with AI. It's orchestrated. But then, yeah, hopefully, I do find something that is worth coming forward with. But until then, at least now we know about his background, way, how, and when. Till next time.